The Arizona economy is on everybody's mind, and talking about it right now, Danny Seiden, President and CEO of the Arizona Chamber of Commerce and Industry. What a title.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Glad to be here. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. I want to start off with a couple of questions about where we are. Everybody had talked about Arizona being positioned very well, industry coming to Arizona, the big announcement that just happened in ASU about the lab. It seems like the momentum is carrying on. Do you feel that way?
Oh, absolutely. That, and I know you had Dr. Crow on your show. He's a big reason of why that announcement happened, but make no mistake, that was years in the making. To land that, I don't think it's all been announced yet, but we're talking billions of dollars coming into Arizona to create a state-of-the-art research and development facility around advanced packaging. And advanced packaging is kind of that next stage of semiconductors. That's a lot of jobs, that's a lot of vendors, and that's a lot of money back into the economy. Huge win.
And it's a lot of high-paying, high-tech jobs. These are high-skilled labor jobs, Absolutely. And that's exactly what we've been needing for such a long time in Arizona.
They are, and even the skilled workers who aren't engineers who are part of these programs,
right.
You know, the VOTECs, people like that working on the lines, that it pays way more than the normal private sector job.
So looking at that, we're rolling into so many different things now. We got a new administration coming in, and there is this big argument about when and how and what the effect is if President Trump keeps his promise on tariffs. Mm-hmm. Can you explain your position on this and how tariffs are used and what do you think is going to happen? How could it affect our economy?
Absolutely. It can affect our economy, you know, in major ways. But let's just take a big step back. So what I've found is I'll hear someone say, well, President Trump's going to put a tariff on Mexico. That's not technically true. What a tariff is, it's a price on the importer, right? So, Mike, if you or I have a company, and I have many members who import goods to make things here in Arizona, they're the ones who will be paying that tariff. They're the ones who pay the tariff. So it's our importers who do it. So that's the problem, because then they'll take that cost and they'll pass it down to consumers. So think for a second, we do a lot of automotive parts here in Arizona. That comes from both Canada and Mexico. If those tariffs come in, we're going to see prices go up for consumers. But again, let's quote Shakespeare, past his prologue. The last time President Trump talked a lot about tariffs, he used it to get a better deal for America in the USMCA agreement.
But would you agree then, sorry to interrupt you, would you agree though that tariffs are a tool that are used for just some of those purposes?
100%. Traditionally, tariffs have been used for, two main reasons. The first is, raising revenue. It was what we had before taxes. It was always tariffs. Then it became more about protectionism of certain industries. And those were kind of the two main eras. I think we're entering a third era of how tariffs are now being used, and that's to force countries to do other policies. When President Trump talks about the tariffs with Mexico, what did he say yesterday? 5%, and if they don't fix who's coming across their border, we go up to 25%. So that's a punitive measure on another country to try and enact some kind of policy change. So that's a little bit different, and it's new, but it's the world we live in.
So can you give me an example of what the effect would be? You used automotive parts, but are there other areas? Because the biggest trading partner with Arizona is Mexico.
Mexico times 4. So I'm going to go right to tomatoes. I'm going to go right to produce. We get a lot of our tomatoes from Mexico. You're going to be paying more for your tomatoes. As they're imported in, that cost will get passed down to consumers. We hear a lot about the price of eggs. Get ready to hear about the price of tomatoes if these tariffs go through. Now, I will tell you, there are ways in which our deal with Mexico could be better. There are ways in which our deal with Canada could be better. And perhaps President Trump is doing what he does, and that's the art of the negotiation, the art of the deal. And he's going to get a better deal for us. So with a new administration, you want to be optimistic, but you can't ignore history. And history shows what happens with tariffs. Overall, they lead to escalating trade wars, and that can lead to recessions. We actually got our income tax out of a failed tariff run in the 1890s. So, I mean, you got to pay attention to history and where these things go.
All right, last question. I got about a minute or so left, but I wouldn't an upside here, at least in my mind, be with the policies on mining and drilling that we're going to see movement maybe on the Resolution Copper mine, that we're going to start being able to free up some of this industry?
Well, now you're talking about the good news coming out of the new administration. That's 100% right. What President Trump, his whole theme, Mike, and everyone should know this, whether you like him or not, he wants America to be making stuff again. He wants everything to be made here. He wants to create a complete global supply chain here in our own country. In order to do that, we need critical minerals, we need the energy, and those two things have been blocked by the prior administration through EPA regulations, excess regulations, and really just coming down and ruling on things. So I think for Trump to get what he wants, even with tariffs, we need to have all of those permits squared away for our mining and everything else. And I think we'll see that. I think he has talked about that just as he's talked about tariffs. So all in all, we can see a lot of good out of this. And again, I think it's all part of the negotiation with him.
I love talking about this with you. I know you get so excited about it. You've been such a big player in it for so long. So thanks for coming down. Thanks for the update, and I can't wait to do it again.
Thanks for having me on. Anytime.
All right, man. That's Danny Seiden. We'll be back.